Hi friends, and welcome back to the Woven Knot Crochet. Happy New Year. It's New Year here in the States and of course in many countries around the world. It's the first week of January 7th. I really appreciate you all joining me today. For those of you who have been subscribers, welcome back. And for those of you who are new, so happy to have you here today. It's been a while since I have put out a video. When I started the channel several months ago, it was my intention to put out a video fairly regularly, at least 3 a month. But the last time I put out a video was a few months ago, and I thought today I would get on here since it's the day after a beautiful wolf full moon, or birch tree full moon, and kind of speak my truth and tell you a little bit about why I have been away from YouTube and why I'm so glad to be back. So since I did my last video, I have had a number of new subscribers, so I really appreciate you all joining, and hopefully you've seen a few of the videos and you knew what my intention was in starting this channel. For me, crochet and playing with yarn in general has been incredibly therapeutic. It has helped me through some very difficult times over the last few years. And because I'm in the mental health field, I'm very interested in things that folks can do for themselves to help alleviate some of the stress that they're under. Of course, in addition to seeking care that they need. So I thought I'd come on today and just kind of catch up with you a little bit, tell you a little bit about what's been going on with me, and also kind of share some of the projects that I've been doing, and how I'm hoping to kind of get back in the swing with YouTube. So I would imagine that some of the things I'm going to talk about today, many of you can relate to. There was a time when mental health professionals didn't share a whole lot about themselves, and certainly probably avoided some of the public arenas like YouTube. But times have changed since I had my training, and many mental health professionals are actually going to social media to share some of their knowledge and experience and some of the ways in which they personally handle stress, and also share some of the details of their lives. So I feel like I'm in good company, and although I'm usually a pretty private person when it comes to personal things, I thought it would be important to share today because I think many of you may be going through some similar things and maybe could benefit from having a place where you feel comfortable sharing in the comments. So I've got my tea here. I've got my candle burning. And by the way, if you are doing YouTube and you light a candle, try to be careful when you lean in to adjust your camera so you don't burn your hair. Lesson learned. Got a little bit of singe going on here, but it could have been a lot worse. So that's what it takes to kind of get back into the swing of YouTube. A few singed hairs. Okay, I'm good. I'm good. Anyway, I think I'll kind of move this guy over a little bit because I tend to talk with my hands a lot, being part Italian. Anyway, I just kind of wanted to share with you what's been going on. So the last time I did a video was back in like the first day of fall. It was September 21st, and I really, wanted to kind of bring in the fall season and the colors of crochet that I really enjoy in the fall and that I feel kind of put me in the space to enjoy fall. Those rusts and browns and corals and so forth. So you may have seen a couple of videos back then. Forgive me for the cough. And then things kind of got out of hand. So I'll kind of open up and tell you a little bit about some of these things, because actually crochet is relevant to these things and why I even started this channel. So over the last several years, I've had a lot of challenges. Back in 2017, my mother passed away after kind of a long illness, but it was kind of an abrupt passing. And it was actually that, and then also needing some surgery myself and being forced to kind of sit still by doctor's orders, that I kind of got back into crochet. It helped me process a lot of the feelings that I was having and some of the kind of flashbacks at the hospital in the ICU, where she was connected to life support, and it was really difficult as her only child to kind of cope with decision making, you know, doing what I knew she wanted, and dealing with all of the overstimulation of an ICU. Even though I'm a nurse, you know, I'm a mental health nurse, but I've been in the field for so long, it's very different when it's your family member, and dealing with the hospital environment can be incredibly stressful. So crochet, you know, the counting of the stitches and the just picking out the yarn and having a project and just being able to do the repetitive motions of crochet actually helped me process a lot of that experience. I would be really interested to know if some of you have found that as well. If you've gone through a difficult time, and if knitting or crochet or cross stitch or any of those fiber arts have helped you kind of process emotions, process thoughts, because that's the first thing I noticed, is how helpful it was to kind of go through the grief process, but also engage my thoughts and feelings about a very difficult time through a hobby. I just found that to be so interesting. I'm a big proponent of having therapy and, you know, if needed, other interventions when one is having some mental health challenges, or in my case, it was just a natural process of grief. It wasn't necessarily a diagnosis that I was dealing with, but the grieving process can sometimes become complicated and, you know, prolonged or complicated. So grieving is natural and healthy, and one needs to go through it. So that was one thing that I found helpful. And then fast forward a year later, 2018, my husband was diagnosed with stage 4 lung cancer. So a year after my mom's passing, I was looking at, you know, a big uncertain sort of path ahead. And he's still with me. It's 2023. He's been battling it ever since. But this past fall, when he had a PET scan, it showed that the treatments that he's been undergoing were no longer going in the right direction. And it was suggested that we begin hospice. So I have been, you know, understandably absent from YouTube and just, you know, trying to cope with where do we go from here. So when you're battling a condition like cancer, and the, you know, the person who has the condition, but then the family members, you feel like you're doing something. You feel like you're moving forward. You're actually trying to do something. But then when you're told, well, these treatments aren't working, and you have to take a step back, it takes a long time to try to figure out, okay, how am I supposed to navigate this phase of things? Lucky for me, I have a really wonderful support system, and for my husband, lots of friends and former colleagues where I used to teach and where I used to work, that have been incredibly supportive locally and also around the country. I have wonderful family members, you all know who you are, who've been incredibly supportive, and other folks that I've met along the way, actually former students of mine and so forth, who have been wonderful, and then a couple of spiritual counselors that I have been relying on. And if any of you are interested actually in connecting with some of the spiritual counselors and folks that I have relied on, please message me, let me know, and my email will be in the description box, and I would be happy to share their information. But regardless of that, we're kind of in a holding pattern right now, trying to figure out some alternative therapies, trying to engage some naturopathic doctors, and perhaps some acupuncturists and herbalists and so forth. And all in all, he feels better off the chemo. But then both of us fell with COVID over the holidays. So I was trying to get back into a nice video making mode in the holidays, and despite tons of boosters, we both got ill. So we are getting over that, but you'll forgive me if I have a little bit of a residual cough. So a lot of stuff has been going on, and I debated whether I wanted to open up and kind of share this information with potentially folks who, of course, I don't necessarily know out there, but I know that many of you are going through similar challenges, whether it's your own health or the health of a loved one. And I just thought I would share. In addition to those challenges, sometimes with illness and challenges in the family, communication can break down. And sadly, I have some adult children, 3 specifically, and communication with them has broken down as well. So they have their own struggles, and I won't go into that for their private, respecting their privacy. But the point is, given all of that, I'm glad to be back and to share some of the projects that I've been doing that have actually been very, very helpful to me, and to catch up on so many things. I had so many things I wanted to do over the last few months here and share with you. And I've been so grateful that I've had all these new subscribers. So hopefully today, a little bit of catch-up time and just opening up and sharing with you what's been going on will actually help us understand better what crochet means to us in our lives and how it can be helpful. And for me, it really is it. Crochet is it. I looked at the research. I looked at how repetitive hand motions can release feel-good neurotransmitters like serotonin. I've talked to folks who knit and crochet in my family and my friends and beyond who corroborate that. There's just a lot of folks who feel that whether it's grief, normal grief, whether it's anxiety or depression, or just dealing with everyday stressors of life at work and family and so forth, or just the world at large, living in a very stressful time right now. Crochet, knitting, those kinds of things are really helpful for folks. And so I just feel like this whole discussion is worthy of a whole channel. So I will just share with you a couple of things. I have made this poncho a while back. This was a pattern from Bag O' Day Crochet, a V-stitch poncho. I know many of you know Bag O' Day Crochet, and I'll put, all of the folks that I mentioned today, I'll put their Instagram address, so if you don't know them and you want to kind of check out their Instagram and their YouTube, you can find them. And then earrings I'm wearing, I just made these little teardrop earrings with some embroidery thread. Super easy. You can find all kinds of tutorials on that as well. I'll show you some things I've been working on. So one thing that has been incredibly helpful during this process with my husband is he asked me for a blanket, and I wanted to do something that was comfortable, not too hot, but that had a little bit of weight to it. So I just used up a lot of my cotton yarn, and I just made a very simple blanket. I'll kind of show you. I think it has kind of a little bit of a masculine feel to it. Just all different colors. I didn't switch colors midstream. I stuck to one color per you know, several rows, and just kind of randomly chose, you know, when to change colors, no particular reason. And then for the border, I just did a multicolor. So this is 100% cotton, basically half double crochet, you know, chain one, turn around kind of blanket. No particular tutorial or anything. It's like scrap blanket tutorials. Many of them have a half double crochet striped pattern. So this I felt really good about when I finally finished and he has been using it. We've had some happy things happen in the family. Wedding of my cousin, and then a different cousin just had a baby. So I did this little newborn blanket, which I just need to kind of wash, and I'm thinking about maybe, you know, steaming it and then blocking it just to kind of open up some of the little pattern here. And this is the Call the Midwife pattern. If you're on YouTube and you just plug in Call the Midwife crochet blanket, several different tutorials will come up. This one was the Fiber Spider. If you guys are familiar with Fiber Spider, I love his tutorials. He's lovely. He made it very easy, actually, to do this blanket. And this is just Red Heart Super Saver ombre in the deep teal. So that one is almost ready to go out. And then currently I am working on a shawl, and I think I may end up keeping this one for myself. It is just my very first project of 2023. I literally started it on January 1st. Today's the 7th, so I was hoping to have it done by the full moon, but I've got a ways to go on it. But it's a very simple pattern, the Annabelle Shawl on Bag-O-Day Crochet, and I can give you the link to that as well in the description box. And the yarn I'm using for that is a cake yarn from the UK, and it's called like Crochet UK. It's just like one of those yarns that has several different strings that you have to hold together, and I'm using it with a number 5 hook because Crystal on Bag-O-Day recommended it for the drape to use a bigger hook than was recommended by the yarn. So I'm happy with the way it's turned out. I just can't wait to get to these darker colors. So that's making me very happy, actually, lately. This has gotten me through probably the worst of the COVID symptoms. That's why I'm keeping it for myself. I probably don't want to be giving my COVID scarf to others. This little purse I made using a pattern from Knit Crochet Addict. If you're not familiar with her channel, she has wonderful tutorials. They're so easy to follow and really fun modern designs. So it's just a little purse that, you know, you can keep like your phone or, you know, other little trinkets in. And then I gifted a bunch of other things here and there, and made some hats for the Cancer Center and so forth. So I don't have all those projects in front of me, but I just thought I would share a few. And the other thing that I wanted to share with you is I did kind of take a little bit of a break from buying yarn. I have more yarn than I could possibly ever use. And yet I have yarn that's been sitting here waiting to be opened for a couple of months. I had planned to participate in a a crochet along with Ophelia Talks Crochet. She makes beautiful, beautiful blankets. I mean, just lovely. And I'll put her Instagram in the description box as well. If you haven't, you know, checked her out yet. I just love the blankets I've made with her tutorials. But she also sells yarn. She sells a number of different brands, mostly out of the UK. And I have had some yarn sitting here waiting to be opened. I was gonna do it with you guys in the fall, and since I was MIA, I didn't get to do it. So today I'm going to open up this yarn. I thought you might get a kick out of that. A little bit of an unboxing. So I'm just as surprised as you are because I don't actually remember what it is I bought. This is the Wendy Supreme DK. Are these colors gorgeous? She has a number of different yarns on her website, so I will put her Instagram in case you want to check her out. That's really pretty. This was for one of the blankets, and I have some others. Kind of fun to do this with you guys because I know you get just as excited about yarn unboxings as I do. And this is seriously cheering me up being back on YouTube with you. Okay, it looks like I could not get enough of that yarn pack, so I went ahead and bought two. Okay, I guess I was planning on making 2 blankets. Maybe gifting one and keeping one. I've done that before. And there's a third. All right, let's see what's in here. This is all from Ophelia Talks Crochet. Ooh, I'm kind of glad I haven't looked at these for a while, but I felt bad not opening them because the yarn actually does need to breathe. It's been in there for a while. Yes, I went on a cotton craze, and these are her King's Cole cotton. So this is a UK company cotton. So especially in the summertime, I was using a lot of cotton. And I like it for baby blankets and, you know, washcloths and things like that. So, all right, well, that was fun. A lot of what you see back here is the Stylecraft Special DK I also got from Ophelia Talks Crochet. So, as is obvious, I subscribe to a lot of different crochet channels, and I'm more than happy to send you guys to other people's YouTubes and other people's Instagrams, because that's what this channel is really about. I'm not here to like compete with other channels. I'm here to talk about the value and meaning of crochet in our lives, and by celebrating all of these wonderful fiber artists who are out there putting out videos, and they work so hard on these videos. Until you've actually filmed and edited for YouTube, it's hard to know exactly how much work goes into a video. And I'm just sitting here talking with you, but when you do a tutorial, it is much, much more challenging. So I have so much respect and admiration for my fellow YouTubers and the ones that actually, you know, teach us such wonderful skills and wonderful patterns. And I hope at some point to do some tutorials, especially for some simple projects, you know, like these earrings and things like that, or little patterns that I've come up with on my own. So we will get to that down the line. But my main reason for starting this was to start a conversation about crochet, the meaning of crochet for you, having a place that you can come to and talk about what it has meant for you. And, you know, does it bring you peace and comfort? Just planning a project and, you know, planning the yarn or that you're going to use for the project, or just sitting down and looking forward to being able to just pick up your hook and your yarn and do some stitching. It's so rewarding for me and so gratifying, and I think it is for many of you. And so I just wanted to hear more about that. I wanted to celebrate that. I wanted to understand that. Like I said, for me, these last few years have been incredibly challenging. I have had really wonderful support. I'm grateful that my husband, you know, has received the care that he has had so far. I'm hopeful that my family's communication will get better over time. And I'm looking forward to this new year as a time where I can come here, speak my truth, share my passion, and also get to know you better and build a bit of a community amongst you and fellow subscribers. So if you haven't subscribed, please think about doing that and hitting the little bell so that you will be notified when I do put more videos up, and I will be doing that more often. And welcome to the community, and thank you if you have subscribed already. Thank you so much. So with that, I'm going to say Happy New Year once again, and look forward to many more times with you in 2023. Thanks, friends.